This video lecture is going over a couple of the parts in section 2.3, parts A, B, and how to do your assignment on Microsoft Excel. Also, just for those of you, I think, who may have downloaded the 84 Plus Silver Edition calculator, or even some of you who just have a graphing calculator on hand, you can just follow along with what I type on the screen. If not, go ahead and use your calculator. And so let's go with the first one. The first example is with a rectangle, and we are looking for perimeter and area. The first thing you're supposed to do in the question is to do it by hand or in your calculator. So the first thing we need to do is get your formula sheet if you don't have it memorized, and you don't have to have it memorized. And I recommend that you print this off and keep it close at hand for your exams and for your homework, and so that you're familiar with it well before the test. So here we go. The rectangular perimeter formula is 2 of the lengths plus 2 of the widths. So if we come back to our example, 2 of the lengths, so I need 2 times the length we were given is 3, and add it to 2 times the width, which is 5 for our first example, and press enter. We get 16. Same with the area. You would do length times width, 3 times 5, and so forth. Now, to do this in Microsoft Excel, it makes it so much faster because you can do all 6 of these problems in the simple click and drag of your mouse. So we're going to type in the formula but use a cell reference. Remember, it was 2 of the lengths, so I'm going to put 2 and times cell reference over here under the length, and I need to add 2 times the width. Cell reference, just click one left click inside the cell you want to reference and press enter. There's our perimeter. And then area was length times width, so to get it to calculate we do equals, and I reference length times width and press enter. So those of you who are not using a calculator and want to just use Microsoft Excel, you could do the exact same thing here by just typing in 2 times 3 plus 2 times 5 for the perimeter, and the area, same thing, or you could do a cell reference. Now that I have these cell referencing the cells to the left, the length and the width correctly, I'm going to left click in my perimeter and drag it over, so I'm holding the click down. Now I let go. Both of these formulas are perfect. Then I'm going to move my mouse down to the right to get my little crossover here. One left click and drag it all the way down. And there we go. The answers for all 6 of those in one little click drag motion. Okay, let's move on to the next one with circle. Again, we're going to come back to our formula sheet. Go find circle. Circumference is 2 pi r. Bring everything back up. So I can do this on the calculator by doing 2 times. My pi is over here above the caret button, and it's blue, so that means I need the second function. So second, this will give me pi. And then I need to times this by r, and our first r is 4. So I'll do 4 and press enter, and there's the first circumference. And area is pi r squared, found here. So we could do that here, pi, we bring it up again here, pi r is 4, and I can either do my squared button here or I can do my little caret here, but because it's fast I'm just going to do the squared. There we go, and that would be the area. To do it in Excel, we're going to do a cell reference. So I'm going to type equals 2. Now remember, in Microsoft Excel, if you just put the pi, it's not going to know what to do between the 2 and the pi. So we actually have to type in the times. You'll notice on this one, I didn't put anything between the pi and the 4 because the calculator automatically knows. But we need to tell Excel because there's lots of different things going on in Excel beyond just calculating like a calculator. So 2, and then we're going to type in pi for pi, open and close your parentheses, 2 pi times, and then the radius we're going to cell reference. So I'm going to left click in here once, and we've cell referenced. Now don't click anywhere else or you're going to end up cell referencing something else. So make sure you just click in there and press enter, and there we go. Here's our circumference. Now the area, we're going to do equals pi, open and close parentheses, and press times, cell reference your radius, so come over here, left click in once, pi, and so that was r, and then raise it, that's shift 6, squared. There we go, pi r squared, and we did a reference for over here. Press enter. If I accidentally put the wrong number in here for my radius, if it was 6, the nice thing about Excel is it'll change what the circumference and the area are because I cell referenced here. Now that these two are perfect, I'm going to left click in this cell, hold that click down, and pull it over to highlight the other cell. Let go of your click, then bring your arrow, your cursor, your mouse down into this corner until you get your cross, and then left click and drag, click and drag. There you go. And we filled in the circumference and area for all 6, which is a lot faster than trying to do it with your calculator, especially if you have more than 6. Okay, let's move on to 2.3. This is similar to part A, number 12, with cone. We're looking for the surface area, the volume, and the lateral surface area. So we have pi RL. I'm going to go ahead and type that into ours too, so we remember. This is pi, and I'm not going to put the parentheses and press equals because I'm just going to type it in. Pi RL. I'm going to put times so that I know that that's the formula. Then we're going to come in here, cone. The surface area is pi RL plus pi r squared. Pi times r times L plus pi times r, and then raise that, squared. And I'm going to make this a little bigger so that it's not going to get covered up by my volume. And then the volume, 1/3 pi r squared h. So come back in here, 1/3 pi r squared, or r caret 2 times h. There we go. I hope I wrote that all down right in going back and forth. Pi RL, pi RL, pi r squared. I think we're good to go. Just double checking to make sure I didn't make any mistakes in typing it in. Okay, we're good. Okay, on the left hand side we have 6 different problems. We have the radius, height, and slant height. Again, we can do this in our calculator. So I'm going to clear this out just to make it look nice. And let's start with the lateral surface area. So we have pi, again second pi, times r. So I don't need to do the times sign on the calculator. R is 12, and then times L, which is 13. Enter. There we go. Now if I wanted the surface area, I would do the same thing as I did before. using my second pi, and I would type in my r and then use my squared button over here, or if I wanted to I could do caret 2, which would be raising it to the second power. Let's go ahead and move to here. Equals. Because I want it to calculate like a calculator, I press equals. And I need pi, so I'm going to do pi, open and close parentheses. Now I have to tell it times when I'm in Excel, but I'm going to reference the radius, and then times, and again reference L, which is my slant height, and press enter. There we go. Now for the surface area, I'm going to do equals pi, open and close parentheses. I have to put in the times sign, reference the R, left click in that cell once, times L, reference that cell, add, pi, open and close parentheses, times, reference the radius again, and in this case we're going to shift 6 to raise it to the 2, and I think we have everything in there. Okay, press enter. There we go. And the last one, volume, equals 1/3 or 1/3 times pi is pi, open and close parentheses, r, I'm going to times r over here, and then so I cell reference that, times h. Press enter, and there we go. Now that these formulas are perfect, I'm going to highlight them, left click in the whichever one you want, then pull and then unclick, move your mouse into the corner, left click once and hold, and pull it down, and we fill in the whole chart. All right, let's move on to a cylinder. This one we're looking for surface area and volume. So I'm going to come into here, and my cylinder, I'm looking for surface area, which is 2 pi RH. And I'm going to hurry and put that up here. 2 pi RH. And plus 2 pi r squared, there we are, plus 2 pi r squared. We get that right? Oh, pi r squared, sorry. Where am I? Nope, cylinder, 2 pi r squared. And volume is pi r squared h. So I'm just going to throw that in here so we don't have to go back and forth. Pi r squared h. We get everything right? I think we're good to go. Okay, so let's move into using our calculator. So we want the surface area, 2, second, my pi is over here, pi. Now I times r, I don't have to put times in the calculator, and there's nothing here that I need to put it in between like two numbers. So I'm going to do 17 for r, and then I need to press times here because if I don't put the times between the 17 and the 2.5, it'll think it's 172.5. Okay, it looks good. Press enter. There we go. Oh, I didn't give us all of the numbers on these ones, so let's just throw in some ideas. So we have a cylinder with radius of 2, 14.8, 19.1, and 513, with a height of 1.3, 48, 59, and it doesn't matter how crazy these get because it'll just calculate it for us. And I noticed I didn't put these in down here either, so I'm going to use the same ones. Alright, so now let's go ahead and type it into Excel. equals to make it calculate, 2, now I have to press times because we're in Excel, type in pi, open and close your parentheses, times again, and don't type in 17, it's tempting, and if you were only doing one problem, typing in 17 would be fine. But we want a cell reference so that I can click and drag and then it'll continue to reference 2 cells to the left. And then times h, add 2 times pi, open and close your parenthesis, times r squared. So I'm going to reference the r, and then press Shift 6 for the caret and square. There we go, there's the surface area. Now for volume equals, following our formula, type in pi, open and close your parentheses, times, cell reference the r, Shift 6 to raise it to the 2, then times, again reference the height, and press enter. There we go. Now these two formulas are perfect, so I'm going to highlight them, left click once, hold and pull it over, unclick, and then move your mouse to the right corner, click and drag all the way down. There we go. Now you'll see this one here says E plus 8. This is in like scientific notation. If you would like to see the whole thing, you can just widen your column and you'll be able to see it. That was kind of big for my huge cylinder. Okay, let's move to the next one. This is similar to section 2.3 part B, number 8, with a sphere. We want surface area and volume. So I'm going to come to here and find my sphere. Surface area is 4 pi r squared. So we'll come back in here and type this in, 4 pi r squared, to remind myself of the formula, and then find the volume, which is 4/3 pi r cubed. 4/3 pi r raised to the 3. There we go. Now for surface area, we'll do equals. Oh, let's do it on the calculator first for those of you who might need a little bit of calculator help on your homework, because the first part says do it with your calculator. So we need 4 pi r squared. So we'll type in 4. I don't need to type in times because I'm on the calculator. Second over here on the caret. Or if you want to, just to stay consistent, go ahead and put it in, 4 pi. R in our first example is 5. 5, and I can do second caret squared, but that ends up being 1, 2, 3 button pushes, or I can, if I'm just doing a squared, can press this button over here. There are other calculators that have y to the x, a scientific calculator, not a graphing one, and that one will give you your exponents too if you're struggling with that. Okay, pressing enter will give me my surface area. For the volume, we'll do 4 over 3, 4/3. Pi is second over to here on the caret, pi, and then times that by r cubed. R in our example is 5. Now in this case, I have to use my button over here. So I'm going to raise this to the 3. There we go. R cubed, press enter, and there's the volume. Now using Excel, we'll use a cell reference. So let's equal 4, and then I have to press times because I'm in Excel. Type pi for pi, open and close your parentheses, times it to r, don't type in 5, cell reference the cell to the left, and then Shift 6 for your caret, squared. Pressing enter will give us our surface area, and you'll notice it doesn't matter in Excel or calculator, it's the exact same thing. Cell reference means that I want to reference no matter where this is, and if I were to click and drag, I could do that all right now. This means that I'm referencing the cell to the left. So these are going to be, again, referencing one cell to the left. Volume equals 4/3 times pi, open and close parentheses, times, cell reference the R, shift 6 for your caret to the third, and there we go. And it matches the calculator as well. Click in here. So this one, I went ahead and clicked and dragged to show you that you can do one column, and it references one cell to the left. Because I referenced two cells to the left here, when I click and drag down to this one, it'll still reference two cells to the left, which is the convenience of cell referencing in Excel. Since I already have that one done, I'm only going to do the volume. So clicking in here, unclick, so I'm not holding anything down, move my mouse to the corner, click, hold, and drag. And we're done. Alright, let's move to the next one. The savings account. This one's similar to 2.3 Part B, number 9. Using your Excel format to fill in this table, we have two different ways of filling in the year. I can just go one. I could go all the way just typing it in, but that takes a long time if you're going to go for a long ways. So one way of doing it is creating a formula by pressing equals, referencing the year above, and just press 1. Now if I click this cell here that has the formula, not this one because that one has a 1, clicking in this one and going down 1, it will add 1 to the previous cell, and so forth. Now as I do this, you'll notice there isn't a number anything, it's just showing that I'm moving down. So that's one way. Another way is, I'm going to delete this, typing in 2, and Microsoft Excel sees that there's a pattern. So I'm going to highlight the 2 here, so I left click in here once, hold and highlight the next one, and it'll pick up on the pattern for me. And then I want to just click and drag. The nice thing about this one is on the right hand side, it tells me how far I'm going down. And this was to 18 years because I picked 18 just because. Yours, I believe, stops at 15 years. All right, for the principal, we're just going to type it in because it's given to us as 320. And then for the amount, or the amount final, we're going to calculate this one. So press equals to calculate. Cell reference your principal to the left. And then this is timesing. So times 1.024. Now where did we come up with that? In the previous week or lesson, we talked about 100% of the principal plus the extra little percent from the rate, the interest rate. In this case, it's 2.4. And to make that a decimal, we move it over 2 decimal places, which makes it 0.024. So adding those together gives me 1.024. Now, I'm also adding in a payment of $42. So I'm going to add 42 and press enter. There we go. Now I do need in the next one to do a cell reference for the principal, so equals the last amount from the previous year, and that's my new starting principal in year 2. Now I have two options for this one. Since I already typed in my formula, I can click and drag, or I can type it in again. But if I click and drag, I only need to go down 1, because if I go down any more, I'm not referencing any principal over here. So I don't want to go down more than 1. But now these two are perfect. This one will always cell reference the cell over 1 column and up 1 row. And this one has the formula typed in to reference the principal, and we've typed in the interest rate and the payment that I'm adding in for the additional amount. So these two are fine. I'm going to left click here, hold and pull it over to the final amount as well, and then unclick and move my mouse to the bottom right, click and drag as far down as I need, and there we go. Now, one more thing in this one is I like this to look like money. So I'm going to come to Format Cell. The other ones we weren't formatting money, so I didn't do this. But this one we're going to format the cells to be currency. And it looks nicer that way for this savings account. All right, that was the tutorial and kind of the lecture for section 2.3 using formulas with Excel and even a little bit of calculator on the side. If you want to join me for the next section, I'm going to go through finding the units, which was another part of section 2.3.